Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at a Pia Boros list in Standard. Pia's been around for a little while now, from March of the Machine's Aftermath. It's a great little 2-drop with a really explosive ability. I think it just works really well in Standard right now, going wide and having haste on the board almost consistently every turn. You kind of can't go wrong. And again, we've been talking about this issue in Standard currently with a longer rotation period where there's just a lot of board wipes and spot removal polluting the meta. So having a little bit of consistent board presence with Pia's ability and some ability to go over top with the Thopter flying tokens. It really, you kind of can't go wrong, and I'm seeing some successes with it, so I'd love to see if we can't let y'all use that as well. So again, Pia and Nalaar is the center of the deck. Thopters you control have haste. Whenever you play a land from exile or cast a spell from exile, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. And again, it's been in Standard for a while, and a lot of people are using it with a Naya shell, using things like Questing Druid to instant speed cast some of the exile top of your cards abilities and play from exile. Naya is a little too slow for Standard in my opinion, so we're keeping it with Boros. And to kind of complement that, we have Ash Party Crasher, and that's a celebration card from the new set, Wilds of Eldraine. Another fun 2-drop with haste, but this one is whenever Ash Party Crasher attacks, if 2 or more non-land permanents entered the battlefield under your control this turn, put a 1/1 counter on Ash. That kind of goes without saying with Pia's ability to put those tokens on the field pretty quickly in any given turn. Adding to Pia's ability, there is Wrenn's Resolve to exile those top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards, and same for Reckless Impulse. So we're running 4 of each of those. So a lot of card draw here, a lot of card advantage in here. It might as well be a blue deck in that regard. So just being able to on time pull out those lands from exile onto the battlefield and triggering Pia's ability. Same for any other cards. Maybe we cast an Ash. Maybe we want to throw a Lightning Strike at our opponent or their board to kind of clear space for our attackers. You name it, we got it. Adding to that explosiveness is Imodane's Recruiter as well. So it's an adventure card from the new set in Wilds of Eldraine, so it's going to have that cast from exile characteristic as well. That will complement Pia with this adventure, and then its creature side. But we're really just here for the creature side with Imodane. We've seen that in other sets, or in other decks recently in this meta. So his ability is when Imodane Recruiter enters the battlefield, creatures you control get a +1/+0 boost and gain haste until end of turn. So again, there's that haste theme and pumping the board. If we on turn 3 we already have at least one Thopter on the board with Pia, or maybe even turn 4 we drop an Imodane's Recruiter. That's a lot of damage to face. So we love to see that. So 4 copies of that. 4 copies of Chandra, Dressed to Kill. Very important here is that second ability. Chandra is an interesting planeswalker too, in that I feel like it fizzles out pretty quickly after you put it on board and get 1+ off of its abilities, off her abilities. But I think in this shell, again, where casting from exile is important, her second ability is really valuable. So exile the top card of your library if it's red, and you may cast it this turn. So as long as you're not hitting lands, which I feel like that happens a lot, but as long as you're not top decking a land from that ability, most things in our deck are castable at that point, so that's a benefit for us. As well, I have used the ultimate for Chandra, Dressed to Kill, way more than I would ever expected to use that ultimate. Getting her to 7 has been relatively easy. I mean, I guess because we have so many blockers on board to keep her alive and healthy, and we're plussing every turn. I've been using her ultimate, which is exile the top 5 cards of your library. You may cast red spells from among them this turn. You get an emblem with whenever you cast a red spell, this emblem deals X damage to any target, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. Extremely explosive towards the late game, or even just in the mid-range matchups. We get a -7 off of Chandra and get that emblem. Any card we're playing from our deck, with the exception of the virtual, which we'll talk about in a second, is going to be damage to face or to creatures on board. So you really can't go wrong there. And I have ultimated a few times with her in some of these matchups. So it's pretty exciting. So I've said the virtue. We're actually running 2 different virtues here. So of course 4 copies of Virtue of Loyalty. That goes without saying in an exile deck. The instant speed adventure created 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance is just everywhere in every deck now that runs white, and you kind of can't go wrong. So that's self-explanatory. But we're also, of course, casting the exile once it's been cast for its instant speed. We're casting the other side of the adventure, where at the beginning of your end step, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control and untap those creatures. Again, we go wide with Pia here pretty easily, and it's very synergistic. So being able to untap them after hitting face for blocking, again, protecting Chandra, protecting our life total, and adding to their power, it's too explosive to pass up. But we're also running Virtue of Courage, 2 copies of that. So that instant speed 2 damage to any target is, of course, a great red spell to have handy for Chandra, to have handy for protecting our board, protecting our life total. It kind of complements with lightning strikes. We love that. But then on top of that, whenever the adventure spell, whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, you may exile that many cards on the top of your library. You may play those cards this turn. That's a 1-to-1 comparison with Chandra's ability, especially her emblem. If we're casting this from exile, we're getting 5 damage to face. We're also exiling cards from the top of our library. Because of that 5 damage to face, because it's non-combat damage, we're allowed to cast that spell that turn, and if P is on board, that's another token ready to go. That's all before combat. So it's an extremely explosive piece of our tool here. But finally, one more explosive piece that I think is a really slept-on card in Standard right now. It's another card from March of Machines, is Quintorius, Loremaster. Which is really interesting about the lore. Loremaster. Quintorius is supposed to be a planeswalker from that storyline, but anyway, Quintorius Loremaster is a 5-drop in Boros colors and vigilance. At the beginning of your end step, exile target non-creature, non-land card from your graveyard. Create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. Then his ability is for 1 red and 1 white, and tapping him, you can sacrifice a spirit and choose target card exiled with Quintorius. You may cast that card this turn without paying its mana cost. If that spell will be put into a graveyard, put it on the bottom of its owner's library instead. So that last bit's really important. We're not going to exhaust our spells by exiling them with his passive ability at the end of every step, because we're going to get them back if we use them from his tap ability. And then, of course, yeah, it's giving us board presence, but then it's also allowing us to recast our Reckless Impulse, our Wrenn's Resolve, our Lightning Strikes, heck, even our Virtue of Courage, Embereth Blaze. We're able to cast all those spells, and they're all red. They're all complementing Chandra's ability. They're all complementing Pia being cast from exile. And then we're going to get them back after the fact. So this deck really just kind of comes together cohesively, and I'm kind of surprised it's not more prevalent in the current Standard best of 1 ladder. So we use it. It's had some successes. I've got some great victories so far. I got us to Diamond, so we're going to play a little bit more with it tonight and see if we can't get a little bit further. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment below if you think this deck could do any better, or swap out some pieces. I'm really interested to see if it can get any better than it already does. But we'll look to have some luck tonight, and we'll get into it. So let's jump on Standard ladder here. We'll go to best of 1, not alchemy, with our Pia Boros deck. As I mentioned, we're already in Diamond now, Diamond 4, so the meta might shift a little bit here now that we're in this next set of the ladder. I'm kind of hoping we don't see more board wipes. I've seen a few versions of that Oops All Sunfall, Oops All Farewell deck since being here, but I'm hoping we don't see that, given our deck's so creature heavy. Board heavy, a lot of tokens. Okay, first hand looks good. We got our Pia for turn 2. Looks like we'll be able to get down our land for turn 2, and we can turn into Reckless Impulse, or we can even just go Imodane Recruiter, whatever our choice is. This is a good keep, even though we're going second. Opponent might be on mono red, which is scary. Okay. No attacks first, but they do have a mountain down. So we'll do our Sundown Pass and be ready to cast Pia on turn 2. Opponent's also on Boros. That's interesting. It's really good to see these resolves giving us land availability. Get down that there. Now, opponent might have removal for Pia, might have a lightning strike, so we could forego playing her now and either cast some resolves or impulses to hold some cards for later, or we can just cast a virtue at instant speed on their turn, which I think the virtue's our best bet, and then we can go into Pia and reckless impulse. I don't really know what the best bet is here. We're just going to pass and see if the virtue gets us where we need to go. Opponent might also snap off a virtue if they're running a mirror. Okay, so it's Flash, Resolute Reinforcements, which means with Boros colors, I gotta imagine it's the Imodane deck, where opponent's gonna try and go wide with 1/1s and then throw out Imodane for massive damage. Now I kind of wish I would have played Pia, but... Yep, so Charming Scoundrels, that's what I thought. So they'll either go for the token or they'll go for the treasure. They'll go for the roll of the treasure. Probably the treasure if they want to go wide later. Or cast... yep, there's treasure tokens. They might cast Gleeful. That card that you blow up an artifact and you put a bunch of tokens in the field. Yeah, so they'll do a Voldaren. Yeah, so we know what's coming. We know what's coming. So this is a great spot to throw out our Virtue, get our 2/2 on the board. Let's go ahead and kill off the Scoundrel. We'll take 2 and we'll switch to our turn. So mana efficiencies dictates that we use either Imodane or Chandra. I'm really thinking it's Chandra. It gives them a target and gets them off face. We could also go for Reckless and look for our next land drop. But casting Imodane guarantees damage and also guarantees we have 2 blockers in place for whatever shenanigans they want to throw our way. We have 2 of them. I think that's actually the better bet. Let's do that. Let's be more aggressive there. We're guaranteed 3 damage here. Opponent's definitely not blocking Voldaren Epic here. Cool. So the opponent falls 16. Pass turn back. I don't think we see Imodane here. Yeah, I didn't think so. Another Epic here comes down, another Blood Token comes in, we'll take a little bit of damage. And opponent might be ready to make those creature tokens with Gleeful Devastation. Ah, yeah, of course. Night Aaron of Eos is also annoying. They get to go pull out a few more creatures. Yep. So that's not great. All right, so let's play a land. Let's play Pia. And let's get an impulse out and see what we draw off top of our board here. Okay, so next turn we have some great cards, but until then... So if opponent drops Imodane here, we're going to take a lot of damage, unfortunately, but we don't really have much of a choice right now. We could get 2 tokens, so we'll play Plains next turn, and we either can play the Virtue, or we can look for more cards to play and really stack up those tokens for blocking. I don't know what the better option is here. Well, let's just see what opponent does first. Okay, so there's Imodane. So they're gonna get frisky here. I think that these are tough blocks. These are really tough blocks. We'll take the block we can get here for sure. We'll take the block we can get here for sure. And yeah, let's just make sure we're killing things. I think that's what we have to do. Unfortunately, we're taking a lot of damage. If we keep Pia, we definitely go land from exile. Here's where it gets tricky. We'll cast 1 more. We'll get 2 blockers. Yeah, I think that's our best bet for now. And we're untapping, so we're attacking all. What'd we lose? Oh, Wrenn's resolve. We still got one more. All right, opponent. Ball's in your court. If they can kill us this turn... Okay, so that's not going to kill us, so... That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 damage, but what we can do is kill Imodane, and we actually can kill the Errant right now. And that gives us 3 life. Yeah, I don't hate that. They're not convoking either, so... Yeah, I don't hate that at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to get Wrenn's resolve cooking. See what we hit. Okay, I like that. We'll play out... Oh gosh, we could also do this, but I think Ash is the way to go. We'll get a blocker there, and we'll attack all. Ash gets pumped. And pump up. Okay, so if opponent can't do 3 damage to face, which is asking for a lot, they might run lightning strikes. I didn't think about that until just now. But if they can't do that, I think we're okay. Okay, opponent starts off with a frontliner. A Charmed Scoundrel comes in. Treasure token, perhaps? I'm liking our chances right now, though. Okay, opponent's going to put the roll token on the frontliner. All right, so we could go Quintorius, and we'll start casting a few things. We'll get our token, and I think that might even be lethal. Oh, wait, do we have lethal? 3 here. 3 here. Oh, we have lethal. Okay, so Chandra's. We'll cast 1 damage
Go ahead.
here.
Fight me as hard as you can. Cause I'm
We'll cast 2
Watch
damage
me heat
here.
up the dance floor.
And we'll go face there. All right, we got there. Okay. First win there with the deck and diamond. I like it. Yeah, so opponent had an explosive deck combo, but we just kind of tempoed out and made sure that we were hitting our creatures and our Pia triggers on time. And Virtue of Loyalty, again, just creating a blocking wall, untapping and giving us counters. You can't beat that. So good win. Thank you for my pointless rewards. Let's get back on ladder here. All right. Okay, we go first. This is a really decent hand on the play. Wind-Scarred Crag on 1, Plains on 2 with Pia, Lightning Strike, or Resolve. All as our options, so I like that. A little bit of life gain early on. Opponent. All right. Okay, looks like Demir colors for now. We'll go ahead and get Pia down, and yeah, I know, removal is probably prime here, but gotta hope for not. Okay, no removal there. I think we can either resolve a Chandra, or we can get busy with the resolve. We're not going to get a land drop off of it, so let's just see what opponent does first. They probably have that cut down. I'm seeing a lot of hold up here. Oh, it's a gun drop poisoner. Okay, never mind. Alright. I'm going to resolve Chandra here then, since we have the open opportunity, and I'm going to go ahead and just plus her for the 1 damage ping.
I'm basically a professional at saving in a strut. Let's bring things up to a simmer.
Okay, opponent gaining some life back. More Demir colors. And there's the removal. Virtue of Persistence that time. Okay. So let's just see what we hit with Chandra's ability to plus off the top. Okay, it's a land. I feel like it's always a land.
Follow our hearts.
Let's go for Wrenn's Resolve here then. We know we'll have our land drop if we miss it there. We did miss it, so that's fine. So I'm actually okay to get one more impulse off for this time frame. And we have our land drop for next turn and removal. We'll probably go ahead and cast Imodane to get him down. Plenty of land for all the above, so this is a good play. Opponent with a Celestis. Okay, so let's plus and see what we hit. Okay, that was a Virtue. That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. Let's get our Forge down. Let's get our Lightning Strike played since we will lose it this turn. Opponent holding up some mana here. They really want to play whatever's in their hands. Let's give them an opportunity for it with Imodane. And we'll swing in. Take our 3 damage and pass back. A lot of blue and black colors here. I'm a little nervous. Another Virtue Persistence. Man, that card is always on board, isn't it? Well, the good news is we can kill that spell. So let's just plus and see what we get off the top of our deck here. It's another Chandra.
This is a fun idea.
So let's hit Resolve and see what we get there. Okay. Few options. I'm gonna go ahead and Lightning Strike to make sure we get Chandra on the board permanently here. We'll play a Sundown Pass and we'll get Ash cooking, and we'll swing in for R2. What did we lose here? Chandra. Next turn, setting up a Virtue, more Lightning Strike. We can definitely ultimate our Chandra here as long as the opponent doesn't find a way to remove it this turn. That's the third Virtue of Persistence. I don't quite understand how they're drawing it so consistently. Shuffler's fine, I suppose. And a quick study to draw 2 more cards. I bet it's the 4th Virtue. Yeah, let's go ahead and take that ultimate while we can.
I gotta burn even brighter.
So getting that emblem from Chandra. Getting some castability here. We can go ahead and put in... Oh, we're going to lose a lot of these cards. So let's just go ahead and get... The 2 Quintorius is brutal, though. That's just brutal. So we can cast here and lose the Virtue, Quintorius, and Chandra and potentially get this countered. Or we can cast 2 spells, Chandra and Virtue, and get the same amount of damage through. I'm not sure what the better play is here. The greed in me wants to go for Quintorius, but the I want to win a game in me really wants to get Chandra out of my hand here. So let's just go for that and see what pops up from the opponent. We'll take our 3 ping here. And there's the negate we knew was coming. But now I kind of feel bad. I should have played Quintorius. They wouldn't have negated that. Alright, we'll get our Virtue out of our exile pile here and make sure we still have it for later. We lost our Quintorius, so that's brutal. That's just unfortunate. Opponent probably going to cast their Virtue, but that's fine. There's not much in the graveyard right now to bother us. So we'll do that. We'll hold up these Lightning Strikes. We can go ahead and play this Virtue of Courage. Hit for 5 damage. And honestly, I like our chances right now. Opponent might put something on the board that might be annoying, but they can't kill us, and they can't gain too much life here. The Pia is annoying, I suppose, but we can kill that before it gets too out of hand. Ah, opponent. Opponent, what are you doing? Okay, we'll take our chip damage there. We do not want to exile a card because we can't play it. We have no mana. Opponent's gonna loot here with Celestis. Alright. Let's Lightning Strike to the face and see what we hit first. Take our 2 damage there. Take action. Land and Imodane. Okay, I love our chances. 3 damage there, and yeah. This is looking really good. This is looking really, really good. Oh, too easy. Yep, and the opponent sees it. So good game. We were gonna let's step through that last little phase there to get that 3 points of damage in. I mean, the opponent saw the Imodane, and I guess they couldn't remove it, but for a little bit more explosive fun, we could have played the Battle Forge or the Plains here to make sure we have the mana, and then we would have. Oh, I guess we couldn't. I was gonna say we could channel this. We actually can't channel it because it's not in our hand. Never mind. Well, we would have just played Imodane and got in for our lethal damage. We also could have popped in our Virtue here. Our Knight got that 2/2 with haste from Imodane and really gone to town. But good game. We're getting some really cool successes, and I told you that Chandra it will ultimate. So that's a lot of fun here. It's always surprising when you get Chandra to stick on board, but not just stick and being able to ultimate and do all that chip damage and card advantage is just too valuable right now. So we're chugging along. Let's get back on ladder and see if we can't do it again. Okay, turn 1, hand looks good. We're going first. Low to the ground with mana requirement. We can always look for more lands. With our Wrenn's Resolve, we keep. Start off with the mountain and pass back. I think I'm going to go Ash's Party Crasher first. Opponent going to hit hand first here. Don't love that. I think I'll ditch a Chandra here. Little too slow for what I think the opponent's trying to do. We'll go Ash's Party Crasher and get in for 2 damage. Opponent doing mono black things, a lot of Liliana flavor, and there's Virtue of Persistence. Man, that card just will not go away, will it? Let's go ahead and get down our Pia and just hope that we don't see any removal for her. And we'll play out our mountain and pass back. And hopefully next turn, if Pia's still on the board, we can do Wrenn's Resolve and see what we get. Hopefully opponent just goes for... Okay, they went for a Phyrexian Arena. That's great here, actually. So I'm okay to play out Wrenn's Resolve here and see what we hit. Yep, there's our land, which is fantastic. So we're going to play that from exile. We're going to play the next Impulse from exile and get another Thopter on the board. And we got 2 more lands, so we're not missing land drops. We're getting in for 4 damage. This is great. Opponent going to take some chip damage from the arena, but they are drawing 2 cards this turn. We see a land and perhaps a Sheldred this turn, or are we just going to see removal on the Pia? Yeah, they're going to Candy Grapple, and they're going to bargain it out. Sacrificing their Hopeless Nightmare, and they're going to get rid of our Pia, which, again, sucks, but we knew it was coming. Okay, and an Okiba to gain back that life. Okay, so let's go ahead and play our land for turn. And then let's see about getting down our Chandra. We'll plus Chandra for chip damage, take our +1 mana in red, and then we'll throw out our Imodane.
I'd love to.
We'll get the pump, we'll get the attack, and we're going to hit face for major damage. Now, they're down to 8, going to 7 with the Phyrexian Arena trigger, but they are going to go back up to 8 with the Okiba Reckoner Raid trigger. Hopefully, opponent is missing land drops. They missed their land drops last turn, and that's a great sign for us. We have another Imodane to kind of keep going. Graveyard Trespasser, we're not too worried about it. Opponent's going to have to start considering a block here. They're going to get some life gain from this, but I'm cool to just plus again here. Take that chip damage, get that life point back from them, get it back for us.
Watch me heat up the dance floor.
Let's go ahead and go Imodane. So now every block they can make is going to get rid of that Graveyard Trespasser, and everything else is just straight face damage. So looks like we got game. Opponent's going to take damage from Phyrexian Arena, so as long as they don't have any after turn or before turn shenanigans, we should be okay. Yep, that's game. All right, good game. Mono Black just taking damage early on. Unfortunately for opponent, they missed some land drops, but fortunately for us, they missed some land drops. So we were able to just tempo out and make sure we were hitting face early on. And even with that removal and life gain throughout, we were able to get to the end game there. So another great win. We are just rocking and rolling here. Let's see if we can't get one more before we wrap. I am really enjoying this deck, and I hope you guys will try it out and let me know your thoughts on it as well. It's a lot of fun, very explosive. It can hold up in the early, mid-game, and then it does have some longer knockout, drag-out potential with Quintorius and Chandra, and we're seeing that with her ultimate, so it's a lot of fun. Let's see if we can't get one more win. We're going first. Again, we got that card advantage, early removal, and Embers Blaze and Lightning Strike, so I think we keep this. And the mono red effect of getting to go first way too often. Okay, it looks like mono black again with Evolved Sleeper on turn 1 from the opponent. I think we just hold up Embers Blaze. Opponent might want to go ahead and evolve the Sleeper if they do. So not mono black. So let's go ahead and see if we can't get rid of that Sleeper. We do. Okay, we'll get our pass out. I think we want to go Actually, yeah, let's go Reckless Impulse, see what we hit. Opponent might want to cancel it, but I don't think they will. Great. Those are great hits. Okay, we can play all those next turn, so that's good. Okay, Fairy Mastermind is annoying, but we can get rid of it. A Kato on the board, even better. We can get rid of that as well. So
the system can't fix everything, but we can.
Opponent taking their draw.
Now, what do
Kato
we
will phase
have
out.
here?
All right, so we'll play our land. We will go ahead and Lightning Strike that Fairy Mastermind because it gets very annoying very fast. And we will get on board with our Virtus so we don't lose it, and we'll pass back. Sheldred on board. We're not too worried about Sheldred right now. We can either outgrow her and make it
There's no secret I can't
annoying not to block her
uncover.
opponent. We could also just remove it with this attack here, so that's an option we have. We'll take some damage, but we'll get that down. We will get down... Will we get down Chandra? I think we'll get down Chandra as a bluff. And we will just
Without the
attack
sun, I'll
Kato.
light your way.
Opponent is not in the mood to block.
I'll find another way.
We'll go face here, and we'll get Kato off board.
Aw, you're looking a little singed.
I'm used to being
Sheldred's a very
uninvited.
annoying card to deal with in this deck, or with this deck. We have to get to a point where we're dealing damage. Liliana coming down is not good. It's going to get rid of our blocker.
No
We're gonna
more
lose our Chandra this
distractions.
turn.
Let's make this quick. Off you go.
Okay.
Just when I was having a good time.
So we still got some options. And there's the Sleeper. I think we have to go Recruiter. Try and get rid of Liliana first. Opponent has the option to block with the Sleeper. I don't know that they will. It's a great card engine later, so perhaps they won't. No, but they're going to go ahead and take it out. Okay. So we'll cast a Resolve, get those off the top of our deck, set up our land drop for for this turn. Didn't realize we hadn't played a land. We'll pass back. We're going to take some damage here and lose our Resolve, our Impulse, but we do have a Resolve and Exile. It's not looking too great right now. In fact, we're going to see an Urtai come down. We're going to have to draw off that, and that's going to lose more damage for us. Now, we can discard this land. That's a good sign. So
Don't
thanks a lot for that,
overthink
opponent.
things.
We're still taking 4, 5, 6 from Sheldred's ping next turn. Not great. Not great. And we're drawing land here. That's also not great. So let's start off with the Wrenn's Resolve. We'll play a land for turn. We'll get down Ash. We'll get down Chandra as well. She probably dies, but listen.
Don't think a fancy dress means I didn't come here to fight.
I don't mind if the opponent wants to
Give
start
a toast? I'd love to.
sacrificing their creatures to my creatures here. Oh, wait, I was doing math.
Fine. I'll take my zombies.
Well,
and
looks like
leave.
that's game. Unfortunately, opponent's just going to have to get face here, and yeah, Shelter's just too much of an insurmountable threat. That was a misplay on my part. I should have held back a blocker. Really focused on getting rid of their things and not paying attention to my life total. Lessons to be learned. But yeah, that was a great example of just play Sheldred and win by the opponent. Regardless of colors, regardless of cards on board. If you can't remove Sheldred, opponent's just going to be ticked away too much to the point where you can't win. And that was, unfortunately, our fate this game. We're going to call it quits there. That was a great 4-match spread for this deck. 3-1 is honestly great stats in this current meta breakup. Please let me know if you try this deck and have some successes, and we will maybe revisit it here sometime soon. It's a lot of fun. I probably will still be using it on ladders to kind of climb a little bit more all the successes we're having. The only thing I may edit in the future is maybe increase the Virtue of Courage and decrease Quintorius. It might be too late game for me, but that's honestly up to opinion. You know, all these 5 drops can be a little annoying if you're not drawing your creatures, not drawing your Ash or your Pia or your Imodanes. But other than that, this deck performs really well. You've seen it here, so I do hope you guys will try it. Drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're so inclined, and we'll see you in the next one.